Okay, good morning everybody, and Hazak Ubaru. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Tuesday morning as we are studying together Perashat Toledot. And our Perashat begins, of course, with the marriage of Yitzhak and Rifka, and how in the beginning of their marriage, they were barren. So Yitzhak gets married at the age of 40, and the Pasuk tells us that they prayed. They prayed and they prayed and they prayed to Hashem until finally Hashem answered him. And the words used over here, Hashem allowed himself to be entreated by him, by Yitzhak. Okay, so a lot of prayers, not for today, but it's a good question to think about. Why is it that they had to pray so hard to have children? Yaakov and Leah had children right away. But for some reason, Yitzhak and Rifka, Hashem was stalling. He didn't want them to have children. Something interesting to think about. But either way, Berashat tells us that they prayed, and finally, Vatahar Rivka Ishto. Okay, good news. Mazal Tov. She's PG. She's pregnant. Okay. Then the Pasuk tells us, here we go, right in the beginning, chapter 25, Pasuk 22. Vayitrotzetzu habanim bekirba. What does that mean? Vayitrotzetzu. The children agitated within her. She was feeling pain. She was feeling kicking. Okay? I think this is not something new. To anyone that was ever pregnant, they know what that feels like. I think every pregnancy involves certain discomfort. There's pain, there's kicking, there's nausea, there's stuff going on. And this is what Rivka feels. She's no different. What does she do? What does she do when she's feeling all of this discomfort? Vatelech lidrosh et Adonai. Very interesting. She doesn't go to a doctor. She doesn't go to an OBGYN. She doesn't call her personal physician. What she does? She goes to ask a rabbi. This is a very interesting pasuk. Why in the world is she asking a rabbi? Rabbis could tell you certain things, but there are certain things that are not to be asked to rabbis. Okay, a lot of times people will call me and they'll ask me, Rabbi, what should I do? Should I get the vaccine? Rabbi, should I take this medicine? Rabbi, should I invest in this stock? And you know what I tell them? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a rabbi. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't ask me these questions. You have a question if you're on a plane and there's no sink to wash, netilat yadayim, I'm your guy. You have a question on Shabbat and you have a band-aid and are you allowed to take it off because you're going to pull off some hairs, I'm your guy. But don't call a rabbi and ask them medical questions. Don't call a rabbi and ask them business advice. Unless they know. Then you're calling them not because they're a rabbi, but you have to know everyone has their area of expertise. Okay? Why is Rivka going to ask Vatelech lidrosh et Amonai? Good question. So Rashi tells us that she didn't just go to a rabbi because, she was this believer that the rabbi knows everything about everything. Right? We have to realize that the rabbi knows everything about everything, but they have to know about the thing. If you ask a rabbi about meat and dairy, soup and meat soup and milk fell in the pot, the rabbi can't give a psak. He can't tell you. Even a rabbi who studied all the laws, he has to know how much. He has to see it. He has to know about the meat, about the dairy. So, Rivka, I don't think she was, her head, she didn't know, she just went to the rabbi with everything. My rabbi knows everything. I don't know if Rivka was like that. I think she went to the rabbi because Rashi tells us why. You know why she went to the rabbi? Rabbotenu darshuhu leshon ritza. Vayitrotzetzu doesn't only mean that there was agitation. Vayitrotzetzu comes from the word larutz. What does larutz mean? Anyone know larutz in Hebrew? Larutz means to run. She felt running inside of her. What does it mean she felt running? Who's running? So Rashi says, when she would walk by the Beit Midrash, by the synagogue, she feels someone running, trying to run to the synagogue. And when she would walk by Pethe Avodah Zarah, when she would walk by the church, when she would walk by idolatry, she would feel more running. And this is why she went to a rabbi. She wasn't bothered by the discomfort, by the pain, by the kicking. Okay, that's normal. You speak to your OBGYN. Rifka over here is feeling something much different. She's realizing that when she's walking by places of holiness, she's feeling kicking. And when she's walking by a place of impurity, of tum'ah, there's also kicking. And she's confused. What's going on? Is my kid a good guy or is he a bad guy? Does he want to be a rabbi or does he want to be, a person who's sinful? Which one is it? That's why she went to a rabbi and not to a doctor. What does the rabbi answer? Shene goyim bebitnech. He says, I have good news. You have twins. You don't have one baby. You're not pregnant with one fetus. You have two. And therefore, every time you walk by the study hall, the kid who's good is kicking. And every time you walk by the place of worship, the kid who's going to be bad, he's the one that's kicking. And Rifka hears this and she's like, oh, Baruch Hashem. Oh, what a relief. That is good news. Thank you so much. And the question, again, is, why is that good news? At the end of the day, you just were told that you're going to have one bad child. You were just told that you're going to have a child that's going to go and do avodah zarah. So till now she was worried, my son, is he going to be good or bad? The answer is, you have two. One's going to be good, one's going to be bad. Oh, okay, Baruch Hashem. Why is that Baruch Hashem? I would still be very upset. I want two good kids. I don't want one bad and one good. There's a beautiful idea over here that connects actually to the story of Eliyahu Navi, Behar HaKarmel. Remember the king Achav? Achav was one of the worst kings in Jewish history. Remember him? And in his time, it was filled with idolatry, fake, false prophets. Matter of fact, all of the good ones had to go into hiding. All of the good prophets, they had to hide. Eliyahu Navi amongst them. And finally, Eliyahu Navi decides that it's time to just show the people the truth. So what does he do? He goes and he gathers all of the prophets, all of the fake prophets, and he brings them to Mount Carmel. Remember Har HaKarmel? He brings them there and he says to the Jewish people, listen, you guys, it's not okay what you're doing. One day you're going to the learn. The next day you're going to church. Next day you're going to shul. Next day you're going clubbing. Next day you're going to the learn. Mitzvot, averot, mitzvot. You can't do that. You got to pick. You want to be a tzaddik? Or you want to be a rasha? You want to be a tzaddik? Beautiful. You want to be a rasha? It's also fine. But you can't be hopscotching. Okay? Too much ping pong. One day here, one day there. You got to pick. This is what Eliyahu Navi says. And then he does the whole test. I have my animal. You have your animal. I'll call to my God. You call to your God. And let's see which God answers. And of course, we know how the story plays out. Eliyahu Navi ends up winning. Okay? God answers his prayer. And it was in the time of mincha, which, by the way, is a very important lesson. That a person should be very careful with tfilat mincha. Not to belittle it. Because Eliyahu was answered on mincha time. Okay, whatever the details of the story, however it finished off, what in the world is Eliyahu Navi saying? If you want to do bad, go do bad. If you want to go do good, go do good. How is he endorsing to do bad? How is he even giving that as an option? How is he saying to them, if you want to do the wrong thing, that's okay? Like imagine a rabbi said that, okay? Imagine a rabbi said to his congregant, listen, I saw you last night saying, not judging, but I saw you, and I care about you. I'm just going to tell you like this. Listen, you want to do those things, that's fine, but just go join the Catholic church down the block. There's a sign looking to be Catholic, and just go in and join them, and that's it. You come in a shul, and then you go, you're better off, trust me, Hashem would rather you just go there. Really? No rabbi would ever say that. Rabbi says, come, it's okay, Hashem loves you anyways, you could do teshuvah, you're growing, you can't jump overnight, one step at a time, right now you're doing the best that you think you can do, right? Isn't it? Eliyahu Navi Would you really rather that they go all the way off to Avodah Zarah? Is that what you would really, is that honest? Listen, guys, you want to be Hashem, go to Hashem. You want to be Avodah Zarah, go to Avodah Zarah. But don't be in the middle. Really? Is the middle worse than the Avodah Zarah? And in a way, the answer is yes. Because in life, in order to help people, we have to know where they stand. If you want to guide someone, if we want to get out of a problem, there has to be a clear diagnosis. This is what it is. The worst thing in medicine is if you don't know what the guy has. You're trying to treat 100 things, you can never cure the guy. If you know where they stand, if you know what they hold, if you know what their problem is, very easy to treat. But you have to figure out what the problem is. And this is what Eliyahu Navi says. You want to go to Hashem, that's fine. And even if you want to go do Avodah Zarah, that's fine. But pick a side. Have a stance, have an opinion. You can't be ambivalent. If we know what your issue is, then I could sit you down, I could give you a pizza, I could talk to you, I could try to help you out of this. Why is it that you're angry at God? But so long that a person's in the middle and confused, there's no one home to really talk to. And that's why Rifka, when she finds out that she has 2 children, twins, one's going to go do good and one's going to go do bad, she was very satisfied with that. Okay, at least I know where his thoughts are, I know what his convictions are, I know where his head is, I know what his problem is, and I can guide him. It's much better than having a kid who's in the middle. Because then you're very blurry on what exactly is the problem, and it's very hard to help someone like that. Okay, beautiful. So anyways, here she is. She goes to the rabbis, and the rabbi tells her, you have 2 children, you have twins. And there's a very interesting question over here, okay? It's a question that based on the Gemara and Masechet Nida. Gemara tells us that, Masechet Nida, page 30, when a child in his mother's womb, I don't know if you knew this, but when a child's in the mother's womb for the entire 9 months, there's an angel teaching them Torah. Okay? For 9 months, the kid is inside, steiging away, learning, right? With all the commentary, everything. And what happens right before the child comes out? Angel taps him, and he forgets everything. And there's a beautiful lesson over here that really, all the Torah in the world, you were already once upon a time taught. We already learned it. And so it's not that we're learning something new. We're just relearning what we already were taught in the uterus. Okay, now that's much easier. When I realized that actually I once upon a time knew the Torah. I once upon a time had clarity. Okay, so that's a very nice lesson. Torah's for everybody. If that's the case, so Yaakov is in there and he's learning Torah. And so the question is, this is the question of Rav Bonim Mepshischa. And Rav Bonim asks, if you're learning, then why when she walked by the Beit Midrash, why when she walked by the synagogue, did Yaakov kick? Why are you kicking? Why are you trying to leave? Where are you going? You're going to learn? But you're learning here. You're not only learning here, you're learning here from the best teachers. You're learning here from the Malach. So why is Yaakov kicking in the womb to go learn if he's already learning? If it's true that every baby, every fetus in the womb is learning Torah by an angel, so what are you going out to learn over there for? This is a very interesting question, and there are many answers to this question. I would like to share with you just one thought over here. And with your permission, I want to take you to a Mishnah in Pirkei Avot. Mishnah in chapter 1, for those that study with us Pirkei Avot, chapter 1, Mishnah number 6. Okay, maybe you remember this one. The Mishnah says, Aseh lecha Rav. Number 1, make for yourself a Rav, a rabbi. Ukne lecha haver. And purchase for your friend, for yourself a friend. Veheve dan et kol ha'adam lekaf zechut. And always judge people favorably. Beautiful Mishnah. 3 different statements, and we're going to see at the end how they really all connect. But let's just break it down. Number 1, make aseh lecha rav. Make for yourself a rabbi. Okay, now this can be understood in many different ways, but I'll tell you just a few examples, okay? Number 1, pick a rabbi. How many? Rav. 1. Pick 1 rabbi. I'll tell you what I mean by this, okay? A lot of times, we have a halachic question. We need advice. So what do? We call the rabbi. We ask him, Rabbi, what's the halakha? What should I do? The rabbi gives the halakha. But then, we're not satisfied with the answer. So we call another rabbi. And we get another opinion. And then we call the 3rd rabbi, and 4th rabbi, and 5th rabbi. And we're all confused. And we don't know what to do. Mishnah says, make for yourself 1 rabbi. You need advice? Have that one person that you trust their opinion and go with it. More options, more complicated. Pick 1 rabbi. Not only that, I once had a student, he called me up, he had a question in family purity. And he said, Rabbi, this is the situation, what's the halakha? And I said, it's okay, mutar, it's fine. Okay, 5 minutes later he calls again. He says, Rabbi, just not sure, you said it was fine? I said, yeah, it's fine. Okay, yeah, sorry, thanks. He hangs up, he calls back 5 minutes, he says, Rabbi, sorry, my wife's just like a little bit bothered. Maybe you want to speak to her. I said, sure, I'll be happy to speak to her. Rabbi, you said it was okay? I said, yeah, it's okay. She said, are you sure? I said, yeah, I'm sure. She's like, I don't know, I think it's not okay. I said, listen, I don't know if you went to Kollel. I went to Kollel. I studied for 2 years this topic, okay, this specific topic that you're asking me, for 2 years, every single day, for 15 hours a day. Okay? I'm telling you the halakha, it's mutar. All right, I guess. Anyways, a week later, he says, Rabbi, I'll be honest, my wife didn't feel comfortable. After we hung up, she called a different rabbi. I said, okay, listen, you're right. What did the rabbi say? He said it was okay. And then she called a different rabbi, and she was paranoid. She didn't want to. She was nervous. Maybe she's not okay. Maybe it's asur. Aseh lecha rav. Make a rabbi. Follow 1 rabbi, and whatever he says, if the rabbi says it's okay, it's okay. And you don't have to have guilt. No worries. And that's a big problem. A lot of times, we're paranoid. We want to keep the halakha the right way. So we call the rabbi, we ask a question, and the rabbi gives the halakha, but we're still nervous. So we ask, 20 different ways, and we still don't go ahead, and we're machmir, and we're strict. And okay, sometimes being strict is good, but sometimes being strict is going to actually be bad. Sometimes being machmir could hurt you. And therefore, Mishnah tells us, make 1 rabbi. Okay. Not only that, but aseh lecha rav, that could also mean, make yourself into a rabbi. Today, Baruch Hashem, there's so many books. English, Spanish, whatever language you want. There's so many books on every topic. Navi. You want to learn about Navi. Don't wait for the rabbi to make a class about Navi that you can now learn Navi. Make yourself into a scholar. Go out and buy a book and start learning Navi by yourself. There's many books with commentaries. It used to be that you're not allowed to learn alone because you could be learning it the wrong way. But today there's so many books, many novels, many ideas, many sfarim that are written, that are with commentary and everything's explained, and there's no concern that you're going to be misunderstanding because it's all written in a beautiful, clear way. So of course, learning from a rabbi is the best, but let's say the rabbi is not right now teaching halachot. You want to learn the laws of Shabbat. So what do? You say, okay, I'm going to wait for the rabbi to create a class of laws of Shabbat and then I'll start learning. Why? Till the rabbi gets there, who knows? You may be 95. So start learning now by yourself. Go out, purchase a halakha book. Go to the Judaica store. Hundreds of books on any topic you want. And therefore, become learned. Don't stay ignorant. I don't know. You see a lot of times with technology. Okay, right? Technology. New items come out. New apps. Okay, one person says, listen, I don't know this. I never learned this. I was never taught technology. I don't know how to use, internet. I don't know how to use. I'm just going to stay, my old ways, doing my old things. Okay. That's maybe one idea. But why? Why stay ignorant? Learn. Figure out how to use it. It's not complicated. If little kids could do it, then old people could do it also. Maybe we need to study how. Maybe we have to figure it out. But just because we know one method, to be able to adapt to new ways. So this is Aseh lecha rav. Become learned. Yourself. What growth are we doing ourselves without a rabbi? It's very nice that we're learning here from a rabbi, but we need to do our own learning. Okay. Then the Mishnah says, Ukne lecha haver. What does that mean? First, make for yourself a rabbi. Get a rabbi, one rabbi, follow them, someone that could guide you. Okay. Then, get for yourself not only a rav, but now you need also a chaver. A chaver, we translate as a friend. What's a friend? A friend is very different than the friends that we use today. Today, could you friend me? How many friends? I have a lot of friends. My best friend, I have 7 best friends. Best friend, BFFFFF, best friends for life, right? We have so many friends today. Our rabbis, interestingly, say, Kene lecha haver. Get one. Why one? Why not have chaverim? Chaverim. Right? Why not get chaverim? Get friends. Why chaver? There's a beautiful mashal. Ben Ish Chai, he gives this story. There was once a man, he came to his son. He said, son, tell me, how many friends do you have? The son, he said, friends, me, dad? Don't worry about me. Friends is not a problem when it comes to me and friends. I got hundreds of friends, dad. How many friends you got? The dad said, me, I only have half a friend. Kid's like, half a friend? loser, right? I got tons of friends. Dad said, yeah, okay. Why don't you go see? How many real friends do you have? He said, no, they're all real friends. He says, yeah? Like they're there for you in your time of need? He says, of course, without a question. Anything I need, my friends are there for me. I said, okay. So why don't you do a test? Take a dead animal, put it in a bag, make believe you killed somebody by mistake in a bar, you got into a fight or something, and go see which friends will help you bury the evidence. Go see which friends are there for you and will be there for you in your time of need. He's like, what are you talking about? Friends for life, they'll do it in a heartbeat. Anyways, the next day the kid comes back and he's in tears. He says, Dad, I don't believe it. But not one of my friends was willing to take the risk for me. But Dad, I want to know, who's your friend that you said you have? He says, my friend, he lives in this street on this address. The kid goes with the bag, knocks on the door. Could I bury this guy? Guy's like, who are you, kid? He's like, listen, you don't know me, but my father said he was friends with you growing up. This is my father's name. The guy says, wow, that's your father? Oh my gosh, I can't believe, oh my gosh, shoot. I don't know if I should be doing this. All right, quickly, go to the back. Go ahead, bury him fast, quickly, before anyone sees. So the kid comes back the next day. He says, holy cow, Dad, you have more friends than me. I can't believe it. The guy was willing to help me. He didn't even know me. He knew you. But I don't understand, Dad. Why'd you call him half of a friend? That's a real friend. And the father said, because he was debating whether he should even do it. For that reason, I called him half of a friend. A real friend wouldn't even think. If your son or your daughter came to you and they needed help, this exact situation. And again, of course, police, it's just a mashal. The point is, if your son and daughter came to you, we would do anything for them, right? We'd do whatever we can to help them. We would figure out, how many friends do we have that we would do this for? How many friends do we have that would do this for us? Friends, in the vernacular of our Hachamim, when they said get a friend, they didn't mean a social acquaintance. Social acquaintances have many, chaverim, but tons, yeah? But a chaver, a real friend. A real friend is someone that we would die for, someone that would die for us. And if you could get one, you're very lucky. And if you have to, go buy him, because the odds are you're not going to be able to get such a person. Very, very, very hard to find people like that. A chaver is someone that the word haver comes from the word hibur, connected to. A chaver is someone that we're like this, that we're there for them and we'll do anything for them. What should we look for in a friend? What should we look for? What should we look for if we're trying to acquire a friend? A friend really depends on the goal. What's the goal in a friend? If the goal is to have a good time, so then find someone who's cool and happening and have a good time with them, right? But what should our goal be in a friend? What should we look for when we're looking for friends? Is there a criteria? Is there a list? Is there something? When you're looking for a doctor, when you're looking for a surgeon, God forbid, you should never need it. But if a person is looking for a surgeon, there's questions that they need to ask to know if this surgeon is qualified. You look at the reviews, right? You don't pick your surgeon based on how good they are in tennis, right? You play with somebody tennis and they're a great tennis player, and they happen to be a doctor. You don't use them now just because they're a doctor, because they're good in tennis. You pick someone that's a good doctor. When I need a tennis partner, I'll call you. But I need a good doctor, I'm not going to pick you just because you also happen to be good in tennis. Right? When you need a lawyer, you don't pick someone that's friendly. I need a good lawyer, someone who's going to be able to defend me. When we're picking a friend, what should we look for? Just someone who's fun? Says Rabbeinu Yonah, goal of a friend. 3 things. Number 1, Rabbeinu Yonah says, a friend should be someone that we can learn wisdom from. Someone that we can learn from. Someone that we can grow by observing. Number 2, a friend is someone that is going to be able to criticize us when we do the wrong things. That's what a friend should be. Someone that when we do something wrong is going to tell us that we did something wrong. Someone that if we're about to go do something dumb, something silly, they'll tell us, hey, that's very silly, stop, don't do that, you're hurting yourself. If we're about to get into a car drunk, our friend will take away our keys from us. And they don't care that, by the way, we may get angry at them for an hour or a day or a week or a month. I don't care, get angry at me. Be upset at me. I'm saving your life. I care about you. If your child was getting into a car drunk, you would take away their keys. You would make sure that they don't get into that car with the keys in their hands. You don't care if they're going to get upset at you. It's irrelevant. Right now, I'm interested in saving your life. That's a friend. And number 3, a friend is someone that will give us advice, that will help us in whatever we're going through. So this is what we should look for in a friend. Of course, we also need to be a friend. We have to do these things very hard, because we live in a world, we live in a time, we live in an age that everything is about what can we gain, what can we take. When we see somebody in the street, when we see somebody in the synagogue, let me tell you, okay, and I'm sorry if I hurt anyone's feelings now, okay, I may hurt your feelings. And this is everybody. At least this is how we are born. But the only people that we care to talk to in shul or in a club or in work are the ones that will help and benefit us. You'll give me a good time, so I'll talk to you. You're funny, so I'll talk to you. You give me business, so I'll talk to you. You're cool, so I look cool hanging out with you, so I'll talk to you. How often do we speak to people because we actually care about them? Not for ourselves. But I'm interested in helping you. Being a friend is not something that's very easy to do. To care about other people without interests, personal interests, putting aside what we want, helping them. Of course, that's what a chaver is. It's a mutual relationship that we care about them and they care about us. What about if it's just one direction? Someone asked me, Rabbi, what if it's just one direction? What if I care about them, but they're not really there for me? So I said, okay, that's the first half. That's what we just learned, Rav. So you are their Rav. You are their teacher. The difference between a Rav and a Chaver is one directional, unilateral. The other one is mutual. If you only care about them, then you are their Rav, and that's okay. That's your relationship. You help them. You are their rabbi. You are their mentor. You are their therapist. Whatever it is, that's fine. That's not a chaver though. You still don't have a friend. You want a friend. You have to have someone that you care about them and they care about you. If it's just one direction, then you're their rabbi or they're your rabbi. When you care and they care, that's a friend. And our rabbis tell us, be very careful who your friends are. Because like we said, the word chaver comes from the word hibur, which means to connect. Whoever your friends are, whoever you hang out with, you should know something. That they will rub off on you. Whoever they are will be who you become. If your friends smoke, 99% you're going to end up smoking. If your friends use certain language, 99% you're going to end up using that language. Be very careful who your friends are, who your children's friends are. If you imagine you had on your arms permanent glue forever that not even nail polish could take off, not nail polish remover, right? Imagine you had such type of cement on your arms. And then I said, okay, everybody, Shabbat Shalom, the Kiddush is in the hallway. And now you're walking to the hallway to grab a bite. Hundreds of people. How careful would we be who we touch? Because we know whoever we touch is going to be attached to us forever. Whoever we rub off, we're going to be with. We'll be very careful who we rub shoulders with, right? So too, when picking a friend, be very careful who we hang out with. We need to screen our friends. I don't know if we ever thought about that. We have to screen who we hang out with. Of course, be polite to everybody. Be friendly and respectful. But who are our friends? We have to be very, very careful. Because a friend is someone that will affect you and you will affect them. And so we come back to our question. Why Yaakov Avinu was not satisfied learning in the womb? And says Rabboni Mipshischa, because who is his chaver? Who is his study partner? Who is he learning with in the womb? His chaver is Esav. And even Yaakov knew that if my friend is Esav, lo shaveh, is not worth it. I could be learning from the best rabbi. I could be learning from a malach. I'd much rather get out and learn from a much smaller teacher if ultimately it means having at least better chaverim. So this is something beautiful, something again very important about friendship, about who we pick as our friends, making sure number one, aseh lecharav, having a rabbi that will guide us, a friend that will guide us and we could guide them. And by the way, with these two we become refined. And what's the third part of the Mishnah, just to end off the Mishnah? Judge everyone favorably. Why is it that sometimes we won't judge favorably? You see someone doing something and you're not sure, and we judge lekaf chova. We judge and we assume they're doing the wrong thing. The answer is because, and this is very interesting, and the Baal Shem Tov says that in life, we judge people based on who we are. If we are sinful, then when we see someone doing something, then we'll assume that they're sinning. If we're thinking all day about sports, then when we see a guy daydreaming in synagogue, we'll think he's dreaming about sports. If we're thinking about business, when you see a guy daydreaming, you'll think he's thinking about business. It takes one to know one, like we say in English. So when a person is filled with sin, everyone they see, they're going to judge negatively, thinking they're sinning. But if you have a Rav, and if you have a Chaver, And if we become refined, then automatically the people that we see, it's going to be very easy to judge them favorably that they're doing good things because we are good people. So it'll be easy to judge other people that they as well are good and well-intended. Okay, I think this is beautiful, enough information for today. We'll stop over here. We should be zocheh always to surround ourselves with positive influences, with proper friends. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.